Good job.
This was kind of a last minute thing. I thought of this topic on my way to Asheville last week, and it was a stressful time. I had to go transport my father from the hospital to an inpatient rehab center in Wilmington because Asheville has been decimated by the flooding after the Hurricane Helene. Um, so there were a bunch of stressors. I thought I had a pretty decent route, but I didn't know really what I was driving into. And then, having a close family member with all sorts of medical needs is also stressful. Um, so, really traveling into the unknown. And on my way up there, I was listening to music, and this time, the universe spoke to me through Spotify. Often it's through Instagram, but this time, Spotify, I think the spirit finds you wherever you are. And I was hearing a lot of the music that I played in the intro while people were coming in. And I noticed it was a lot about like change and impermanence and letting go. And the words that Ron Marston spoke a couple Sundays ago when I was the lead, he said, right now it's like this. May I be at ease, bubbled up into my consciousness. And that reminded me of my topic, which was be as I am, even when it's uncomfortable, which led me to think about Joe and the Beatitudes that he's been talking about and the idea of ripening, which can't be rushed and needs to take its time, maybe especially when it's uncomfortable. And yesterday, Joe talked about the Beatitudes. So he gave us Yeshua's roadmap for ripening. I showed up promptly at 10:15, ready to take notes, and the whole lesson was over. But fortunately, I have a cheat sheet. I don't know if anyone else remembers back in the day when Joe used to laminate everything. So I have this for posterity. So I had my beatitudes here, um, and then as I was telling Joe about my idea for this meeting, he shared with me an image by Julie Berry, which was the screensaver as we were coming in. And so I tell you all of that. This is kind of where we're going to go. But I also want to point out that this is how co creation works. I didn't really come up with all this stuff, I just kind of pulled it together. There's the screensaver. Joe, I'm going to ask you to put that up later. We can leave it now if you want to. I think it's great. And then you don't have to mess with the technology because I am going to talk about this in a little bit. So, anyway, thank you all for being here, for saying what you say in our conversation, or just holding the space because you are what enabled me to be able to be here talking about this and also really furthering my understanding of all of the things we've been talking about. So, I want to break down right now it's like this, may I be at ease, just a little bit of how I interpret that and take that into my heart and then use it right now brings me into the present moment. I am not thinking about the regrets of the past or the wreckage of my future. I am right here in this moment, which is the only real thing. It is also guaranteed to change. It is not permanent. And so that is good news, especially when I'm suffering, because I remember that I be as I am right now in this moment. And then there will be another moment. And sometimes those moments do last a long time. I thought about when I first started meeting with Joe and going to Loose Leaf Hollow, I used to very often have this like choking sensation in my throat. Um, and I was miserable. I hated that. It's very uncomfortable and distressing. Um, and I kind of was despairing that it would ever go away. Well, to my great surprise, it sort of has, and I didn't even really notice that. It does come back from time to time, but it has sort of dissolved. And I didn't specifically do anything. Like I didn't attack the choking sensation in my throat. I just did this. I just did the work, the thing that's here in front of me. The next part I wanted to talk about is the phrase, it's like this. And that makes me think of part of Joe's poem, the words, may what needs to be seen be seen. It's like this. I am looking at what's true without my stories, without my judgments, without my interpretations. It's kind of just letting my gaze rest without judgment on the situation in front of me. The next part is, may I be at ease. This is letting go of tension. It's not, may I be delighted. May I be ecstatic that this is happening right now. No, it's, may I be at ease. It reminds me to sort of let go. It's that difference between, the clenched fist, and it's just, can I relax a little bit? Can I find some ease somewhere in this situation? And I think too that it's the difference between necessary suffering, which needs to be borne. We need to look at it. It's like this right now. And then it's taking my unnecessary suffering, which is all my commentary about what it is, takes that out of the equation. And so it doesn't mean it's perfect and I love it, but it does mean I can relax a little bit. And very often I think about this in unpleasant situations, because I really, really would like to run from them. And it's a struggle to stay present. But I also think that it's great for pleasant and lovely moments as well, because it, again, brings me consciously to that time so that I can appreciate it. And it also reminds me that this will pass too. Life is a flow. It's not always supposed to be wonderful. And I find this really helpful as a mother, because when my son was younger and a baby, I was angsty all the time. And I thought it was going to be forever. I didn't believe people who said it would get better or different. I thought they were not telling me the truth because it was a lot of years of difficulty. But it has helped me now. Things have changed. He is older. I do have lovely moments with him, and I can really appreciate those and really be present as a parent, and cherish them and cherish the tough times too, because they're going to pass, and then I'll look back on it and know that that was a time of growth. So all of this led me to the word ripening, which, as I lamented last week, it happens in its own time. Sometimes I'd like immediate ripening, but there's no rushing it. And so the Beatitudes, I took a look at my list, and there's a few that I really sort of resonated with me on this topic. But as I was reading through all of them, I noticed that there was a difference between like me reading and understanding it, and then me actually, like, I think that they're meant to be inhabited. I think that they're meant to like climb inside and live inside each beatitude until it really becomes part of like who I am. Like I live and breathe these beatitudes. I'm not reading them and like trying to remember what they say. I'm not sure that I can really articulate what I mean when I say that, but I just felt like the best I can say is that it's like living inside of them. Um, So the first one I wanted to mention is ripening are the wounded, who breathe in all the pain and loss, and who breathe out simply some sense of relief for themselves and for all fellow sufferers. And I mention that one because I have been tormented over the destruction in Western North Carolina, as you can tell. And I think that it speaks to be as I am, and also to be able to sit with darkness and look directly at it to see what needs to be seen. Right now, it's like this, and to not look away. The next one I wanted to mention is ripening are the fluid, who greet whatever arises as the river greets the rock. With easy does it, with around and through, with the gentle way of water. I've always thought about water as it always finds a way. And it's not a linear path. If anybody's ever had a leak in your roof, you know that it might show up here, but it's actually the source is over there and it trickles and finds its way. So it can be a very unexpected path, which is this path, very unexpected. It is a gentle and a fierce grace, as we see in the flooding that's happened. And there's an obvious flexibility, go with the flow, right? I will tell you that you can't surf if you're tense. And ask me how I know. I have tried surfing and I have gotten pummeled because of, it was me against the ocean. And guess who won? Not me. So being able to relax, may I be at ease. And then the next one is ripening are the empty, who can be at peace in the very midst of war, who can truly be in this world, but not of it, and who can become younger with each passing day. Finding ease when everything is chaos, whether it's external or internal. I have plenty of internal chaos too. And I love the teaching of be in this world, but not of it. Because it is, it's both humanity and divinity in one. And that's who we are. We are both. It's inescapable, this pain of being a human. And yet, I am always connected to the divine, and I am that. And so that is a beautiful reminder to me all the time that I'm both at the same time, which helps me find ease, which helps me see the moment as it is. And knowing that it's not permanent and being fully inhabiting this earthbound plane and knowing that I'm eternal and it's all okay. And I think trees are an avatar for this. Trees are deeply rooted into the earth, and that's our humanity. And their branches reach toward the sky, the symbol for heaven. I don't think heaven is up in the clouds, but that's the symbol. And that's where Julie's image comes in, mother energy. Joe, if you'll put that up. And there's so much going on here in this beautiful image. I'm going to mention a few things. You probably see more or see things differently. But what I see is obviously her roots are deeply connected and her branches reach toward the sky. Notice that her face is very serene. This is the picture of ease. I think that the egg shape in the background is a symbol of potential. It's the God seed that Joe was talking about yesterday, that little bit that I caught, Malkata, that there is something special inside each of us. And the mother is calling, Mother Mary, the patron saint of contemplation. She's calling us all to find that within each of us. And so, how do we do that? Through contemplation, ponder these things in our hearts, through stillness, mindfulness. Right now, it's like this, relaxing into the present moment. Be as I am. May I be at ease. Otherwise, we might miss it and we might follow the wrong star home. And that's enough for me.